Alright, my name's Tom, and today I'm going to be talking about things and stuff and slowly melting into the furniture with Megan and Pickard. Megan wasn't here in the last episode. We actually found her tucked down the back of the sofa. And Pickard hasn't left since last time. I think I need to call the police. This is Safehouse. Alright. It's really warm. It's so warm.
So
warm.
I'm not describe in words.
I'm not comfortable.
Nope.
So we weren't here last week because last week we went to the London Film and Comic Con. Woo! And what we were going to do, right? Here's the plan. We were going to go to Comic Con. We were going to film some things. We had a bunch of stuff lined up. There was going to be cosplay bingo. We were going to split into teams. It was going to be fantastic. And then we didn't. And then what happened is Showmasters forgot how to organise events, and
pretty much
it was overbooked and obscenely hot. And long story short, we couldn't be fucked. So
we got one bit of footage.
Yes. I have about
assailed by Slender Man.
Yeah, I've got about 10 seconds of Pickard awkwardly standing near a man dressed as Slender Man on stilts.
Can we maybe play it in the background?
That'll go here somewhere. Yeah, I'll overlay that. It's pretty emotional.
Highlight the whole event.
Yeah. So that's good. Basically, LFCC was a complete shambles.
It's
to be honest,
it was a real shame because LFCC, on the whole, I mean, I've not been to a lot. I've been to two.
Yeah.
But compared to MCM, which is like an absolute bum fight, I much prefer.
I prefer LFCC to MCM. MCM probably has more interesting, more varied stuff at least. They've got more actual exhibitors there.
Yeah, I think you go for two different reasons. I think you go to LFCC for the guests.
Yes.
Like, so you go to, even if you don't want their autograph, you go to see them in the same room as you.
Just be like, hey, what up?
And like, yeah, there are stalls and they're cool and that, but that kind of comes second place to the people that are there.
Yes.
Especially this year where it was just
I think this year they booked too many big names because they had Stan Lee, and once you got Stan Lee there, that
don't need anyone else.
That tripled the ticket sales.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
it was,
I mean, we got there. Me and Dan turned up.
You got the early bird because you're crazy.
Well, yeah, but who got in?
They got up. Well, yeah, they were up at 5:30 in the morning, and we were just like, "No, you're right."
Yeah, and then who came crawling back?
Yeah, me and Pickard and our mate Ben basically sat in the queue for like an hour and 40 minutes before a guy came round and said, "We're at capacity now. You're not even halfway through the queue. You might as well go home." So we were on our way to the pub because. Yeah. How better to replace LFCC with the pub?
And then you magically got in
and then,
through no.
And then we got in to the convention without just walking in because they didn't have enough people to check everyone's tickets. So
it was pretty bad.
It was pretty poor.
We were part of the problem.
Yes, we were not part of the solution. We were part of the precipice.
But going back to Stan Lee being there,
yes,
we got there at 8:20 in the morning, by which time we were at the same point of the queue that we were when we went at like 12 on that Sunday last year.
Yeah, last year there was nobody there.
Well, it was okay. There was people there, but it wasn't crazy.
I mean, it was the sort of thing.
You could just turn up.
Yeah.
But we was at the same stage we were at, which was, so you've got the front entrance and you've got all the way down the side with the big courtyard and then all the way around the side.
Yeah.
So we were like kind of halfway, and we were walking past and we were saying to like the crew members like, oh, which queue is which. Number one, none of the crew seemed to know what queue was which anyway.
No idea what was going on.
So it was like, okay, so what queue? Well, have you got tickets? Like, well, yeah, I've got a ticket, but I've got a standard entry ticket, but I want to upgrade it.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we'll just join that one then.
Like, well, is that one the right one?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
I'm not made out of answers.
My point to this story is that by the time we got into the queue for standard entry, without a ticket, the Stanley queue was bigger than our queue. So there was more people there purely to see Stan Lee than there was just to
get into the convention.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that was the problem. There was too many people to see Stan Lee. And then, of course, there was the big kerfuffle where they sold thousands of tickets to get an autograph with Stan Lee.
Until realise that he's an old
He is like a 90-year-old man who signed 450 and then went, well, I'm going to go home. See you later, true believers. Excelsior, and then fucked off. So
It's like
flew out of there. So basically there was a big kerfuffle that they were selling all these they were way overselling what Stan Lee was able to do. All in all, it was a bit garbage.
It was a shame. It was a shame because, you know, like I say, I've always preferred LFCC.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more chilled out and it's a lot more kind of, you can sort of get around places and you can look at things, which is one of the big problems with MCM is, it's really cool and there's loads of cool stuff there, but you can barely see any of it because you can't get anywhere.
File. And that's the thing, they added another lane of shops, so all of the lanes of where the stalls were it was like one in, one out kind of thing. It was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it took me and Dan about half an hour to get out. Yeah. Just through one queue.
Yeah, just walking towards the door. It was pretty bad. I mean, I went, because Megan and Dan were all there cosplayed up, looking fresh to death. And then I had a big Ghostbusters thing planned. I wore it for like an hour and I went, fuck it. Took that off. That wasn't happening. But yeah, so all in all, so that's why there was no episode last week, because we were going to do an episode from LFCC and then we basically thought, no, fuck it. And then we went to the pub afterwards and then we went to Gourmet Burger Kitchen.
Which was lovely.
And had some really tasty burgers.
Good burgers.
Baconaise.
Amazing.
First time I've ever been there, bacon, mayonnaise.
It was...
I know.
Also, there was like, right, okay, so here's your burger, yep, I want that, and I'm going to have a Camembert burger, for example, which I had. Yep. So it's like beef burger, Camembert, brioche bun, brilliant, fantastic.
Having a good time.
Oh no, wait, do you want to upgrade to a buffalo burger?
Yeah, let's just take that beef
Why the hell would I not want to?
Making some buffalo. It's like, well, alright.
Yeah, like for £1.50, like you could upgrade, it's like...
Well worth it.
I'd be an idiot not to.
Well.
Oh my god, those onion rings. Onion rings done in panko breadcrumbs, like sort of...
And there's like a million of them.
Yeah. I was assuming it was going to be one of these things where you get onion
like
rings
6.
and they give you like one or two. Like, oh, here's your onion rings. And this, there was like a mountain. Like we needed equipment to get to the top of this stack of onion rings. It was pretty good.
It was an impressive meal.
It was.
Highlight of the day.
So that was the best part of the day. Was
well, not to forget the fact that I nearly, crippled myself.
Well, with you decided to wear the nice high heels, which they look lovely.
The thing was,
but
I've worn those heels a lot of times. I've worn them to work, and they've never been a problem. I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was the floor. I don't know whether it was the concrete.
Yeah.
But
just too much walking.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to the ladies here. Every girl has got a pair of heels that one night is absolutely fine,
and the rest of the time.
And then one day, the day that pretty much you don't want it to go wrong, they hurt like hell. And I literally thought I was never going to walk again.
You'll just have to carry it.
That was probably the most pain I've ever been in.
She had to send Dan to Primark to buy some flats.
And he did. So.
And he did, because he's a good boy. Is Dan.
And that's what I was getting at.
Yes, that's it. You've got him where he needs to be.
In Primark, wearing.
In Primark, buying new shoes in massive queues. Right. Well, yeah. So LFCC was garbage. Things that aren't LFCC. Pickard is like the leader today because you've got all the things.
You've been watching so much television.
You've been watching all the television. Tell us about it.
Utopia started again.
Good. Tell us about Utopia.
Have you either watched it?
No.
I've not seen it. It was on basically when I did night shifts. I would like compile a list of things I was going to watch because I would run out of things to do.
Fair enough.
So and Utopia was on there, and it was just one that I never got round to watching. So
it is a brilliant show.
Right.
I gave Tom the quick run through.
Yeah.
But essentially,
Channel 4, right?
it's Channel 4, British-made conspiracy thriller.
Right.
About a group of people that get caught up in this Cold War conspiracy about a virusy thing that's meant to do some bad shit. I won't say anymore because spoilers. But it's all based on this graphic novel that a guy went insane writing.
Okay.
And he was in prison and he wrote a graphic novel.
In real life?
No.
That's part of the story.
Part of the story.
Okay.
Sense, yeah.
But they have the graphic novel in the show that they had made.
If I distinctly remember like the first series being advertised in a comic book style.
Oh yeah, the whole thing is shot like you can imagine. Each shot is a frame out of a comic. It's really well
that
shot.
That sounds really cool. Yeah.
Lots of like cool colours and shots and different things that you wouldn't really see in normal TV.
Yeah.
But it's just a really cool, and it's brutal as fuck.
Good.
So like,
Good.
The main guy in the first series, or one of the main guys, is called Arby, and he's an assassin hitman guy.
So.
And he and his mate. It starts off, they walk into a comic shop, and there's 3 guys in there, and his mate goes up to a guy, turns him around, gets out this like blackjack, and just whacks him on the back of the head. That starts the show.
Good.
And this is a pool of blood creeping across, and then they get out like a dentist gas thing.
Yeah.
And just walk up to people and go, "Where is Jessica Hyde?" And they're like, "I don't know." Gas in the face.
Jesus.
And then they see a little kid hiding under the desk at the end.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Wait, get the gas again." And it's like, that's the opening of the whole thing. That's how kind of bleak it is.
Pretty dark.
It's quite dark, but I love that shit.
Good. Cool.
And it started again, and it's good.
Good.
People should
That's
watch it.
that's on the hype. And then you were saying about Penny Dreadful as well, which is something I've wanted to watch for ages, but I haven't got around to it.
I blitzed it in a weekend.
Good.
Yeah.
How many
8.
episodes are there? 8.
That's right. It's doable.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could do that in a day.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And it's a late Victorian era, so like 1890s, I think it's
Cool. Good time.
Gothic horror that mixes.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
That mixes the classic monster universes of like Dracula and werewolves and all that shit.
They
all
did
into
not.
one.
That does not look like
it's
what
been
it's
horribly undersold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
It looks like if you were, because I walked there was in fact an advert for it at LSCC, like on like a billboard, and it literally looked like a period drama.
Yeah, they've fucked up the market now a bit.
Yeah, or like,
because it's written by John Logan, who wrote Skyfall and Gladiator.
Okay.
And it's executive produced by Sam Mendes. It's got all these like amazing names.
Yeah,
in it.
I was
Like Eva Green,
saying to
Timothy
Megan in
Dalton.
the cast, I was like, it's got Josh Hartnett, who is my number 1 man crush. like when you have the list of like your top hot celebrities, and then they're like, what about same
Yeah,
sex
what about
ones?
What about the man?
And it'd be
Which
like-
man would you let spoon you?
It's like I'd let Josh Hartnett be the big spoon. I would let him be the
Come on,
big spoon.
Pickard.
Who?
Which man
which
would
man?
be?
Dan Brown.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have a say in the matter. He'd just
wouldn't
be.
You just wake up and be like,
You're like,
what?
This happened.
yeah, what did we
Fine.
do? And he's like, you'll never know. God damn it, Darren Brown. That was really cool.
It's really good. Again, it's brutal as fuck. Lots
Good.
of violence.
Cool.
Lots of blood, lots of guts. Lots of people getting their shit ripped out.
The shit ripped out.
Ripped out.
What?
Love
Like
that on
running
the
into the
poster.
hospital.
Yeah.
Running into the hospital.
The shit's
oh
been
my
ripped
god, what's happened?
They've ripped out
They've
my
ripped out my shit.
Good.
I'd be lost
We've
for
got
words though in
Good.
that situation. Anyway.
We've got a dire case of shit being ripped out in A&E.
It's like quick stat. Get the unshit ripper.
It's the theme hospital expansion.
Yeah. Good. Well, okay. Other things that have happened. There's a new game. It's called Divinity Original Sin. Divinity : Original Sin. And Pickard got it, and he got a free code, and so I got it.
Woohoo!
Journalism.
And then we played.
Well worth that degree.
Yep. And and it's really good.
It's
I really
so
like
good.
it. It's sort of like a computerized version of D&D.
So yeah, is this a PC?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's PC Master Race game. What you do is you've got 2 dudes, and you always have 2 of them, regardless of if you're playing one player, then the other one just sort of follows you around. You can switch between them.
Right.
But the idea is you both make a character, and you build them sort of like you build characters in D&D. So you do the strength, dexterity, constitution, all of the stats.
So it all, yeah.
And then you choose a class. So, I mean, Pickard went with a wayfarer, who's like a summoner of animals.
Nice.
So he summons a big spider.
Giant spider.
That giant spider saved our life
Not
many a
kitten.
time. No kittens.
I can talk to Ken.
Yes, he can talk to animals, so he getting missions by talking to like a cat, and the cat would like talk to another
Did you
cat.
go round and it went, what up?
Yeah,
He's in love with the mayor's cat, but she wasn't into it.
she wasn't having it.
So he wants us to find his collar.
Yeah,
And he thinks
to
that'll pimp
make the
him out.
cat. Yeah,
Oh, because he'll be more pimping.
Yeah.
I found one the other day. The mess hall I think you walked into with all the soldiers.
Yes.
I walked in there with a person who could talk to animals, and there's a guy chasing a chicken,
Right.
and the chicken stops and it's like, help me, he's trying to kill me and eat me, and you can
Right.
choose to help the chicken
Oh.
or help the butcher.
Oh,
So you can be veggie or non.
Yeah. Oh, that's the cool thing. There's so you got things like that. I went with a thief sort of rogue character.
Standard.
Yeah. We found that because there's I mean the combat is basically like XCOM, which is sort of it's turn based. You move a dude. You have a certain amount of points to spend. You can move. You can attack. That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So that was cool, but I really liked the role-playing element of it.
Yeah.
Like you have mysteries to solve, and you have to go around and you go about it in different ways. So depending on how you flesh out conversations, you get different personalities sort of assigned to your character. And so people respond to you in different ways depending on what your character's like.
It blows my mind how clever these things are.
And then if you kind of do contrastive views for so long,
Yeah.
you have an argument
Yeah.
which is settled by rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, because you have little dialogue trees, and so if Pickard says, I think we should do option A, and I go, well, I think we should do option B, and then you fight about it for a while, and if you can't come to agreement, you
Just do
literally
rock,
pick
paper,
the outcome you want, and then you do rock, paper, scissors for it.
Nice.
But yeah, and we
It
found...
is just lots of those little cool little systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Great
then
fun.
also, there was a
TV.
thing that you sent me on the book face.
Yeah, it's like so this whole Gotham thing is still going on.
Gotham's still happening.
It's still. Is it even out yet? Like,
It's got to be soon.
I think is the first episode?
I don't think it's
I
aired
don't
yet.
know.
well, it's one of these things that's like, it's like when you hear a song too long and you think it's already out. Like
Yeah.
I thought this was already out,
Yeah.
doing whatever.
Turns out no.
And it turns out that no, they're just like plugging it and plugging it and plugging it.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's sort of like, they've kind of gone, because basically the whole Batman thing is like, oh, the Joker, yeah.
Yeah,
Like the Joker's going to be in it. And
Yeah.
like, so fan-wide, he's like a firm favourite. Not,
Yeah.
you
It's. I think
not
that's
for
the.
some people,
Yeah.
but it is.
It's a very divisive topic.
Yeah.
Is the Joker, because the Joker is very hard to do properly. Because the Joker.
Yeah, but basically what they've said is that there's going to be someone in every episode that could be the Joker.
Yeah.
So we'll have different traits of the character who you'll think, oh, right, okay, so it could be them or it could be them.
Yeah.
Which, if everything else wasn't so bullshit about it,
I quite like that as an idea.
I like it as an
Yeah,
idea because
it's
it's kind of that, well, I think it's this person. It kind of starts that whole, like, who shot JR? Well, I think the
only thing is they can never resolve it, because that would ruin it. That's
Yeah.
the thing. If they just do, because I think it was they said that in the first episode there's like a guy in a stand-up club
Yeah.
who, and they're
Or
like,
there's like
right.
guys that are selling like something. I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
like flower
Flowers,
salesman,
yeah.
and then there's like a clown in an episode, and then you've
Yeah.
got things like that, and
Or it will just be a guy with a very
go with
wide
a really,
smile or something
really
like
obvious
that.
grin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, that's fine as long as they never resolve it.
I think
if they
that-
definitively go, that
It's that
guy
one, yeah.
ruined it, because you don't know the Joker's origin story. He's never had a concrete story, because people have done origin stories for him, and then they're always under the disclaimer of, well, yeah, but this is being told from his perspective. He's mental.
Yeah.
He's making it up.
Yeah,
So
because I think that's where a lot of TV shows go wrong, is resolving
Oh, yeah.
something.
something doesn't need to be resolved.
Like, exactly,
Yeah.
I think it's a hell of a lot more interesting to sit down and be like, well, I think it's
Yeah.
this,
I think it's
and then have a debate about it rather than, oh, right, well,
Yeah,
that's
that
fine.
happened. That's the end
Twin
of that
Peaks is a
conversation.
big one for that, because for ages the guys behind it, David Lynch and Mark Frost, didn't want to reveal who the killer of Laura Palmer was, and they were about halfway through season 2, and the executives
Yeah.
were like, no, you need to resolve this. So they're like, fuck it, we'll do it, it's
Yeah.
done, and then it
That
ruined
guy.
the
Killed,
show.
killed the
Yeah.
show, yeah.
That's it.
Well, it's kind of the same as when TV shows have, like, you know, are they going to get together? Aren't they going to get together? Like couples
Yeah.
who never get together, because
Yeah.
it's a hell of a lot more interesting.
Yeah, when
to
it's
be like,
like,
maybe if they are
and-
going to get together,
yeah, and
than when they actually
but then they do, and you're like, oh,
yeah, it's like, oh,
Castle.
it's,
Castle did that.
yeah.
yeah, fucking-
Fucking Castle.
yeah. And they did that in Bones as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and now they're
Are
together.
they the same show? Just with
It's the
different
same
names?
show with different
Pretty sure
actors.
they are.
Yeah, because
Castle's on Netflix though, so I'm a lot more
yeah,
obliged to watch that one.
Also, Nathan Fillion.
Oh
Apparently
my
Nathan
God.
Fillion's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He is.
I heard he's
is.
doing a voice of Cosmo.
Yeah.
Who's like you remember like back in like the 60s when the Russians were trying to get on the space race.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent that dog into space, the cosmonaut dog. Well, basically in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's there, and he's voiced by Nathan Fillion. And I was
Amazing.
like, that's nice.
I literally think that was just like an intern somewhere that was like, hey, that'd be funny.
Yeah, and then they just went
In the
"Mate,
suggestion
that's
box.
Fantastic idea, we'll do that. Yeah, so
Get Nathan Fillion to do it.
yeah, always Nathan Fillion.
Done.
I mean, I'm hyped for Guardians. That's not long
That's
out.
not-
It's gonna be
No.
out soon.
That's
August.
another one though that
Yeah.
I thought was out already.
Yeah,
and
it
it's,
just was
it's
so many
31st of July.
Ooh, that's like
That's
2
really
weeks.
a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's
2
cool.
weeks.
Oh,
It's good, but yeah, on the Marvel hype, they released some new stills from Avengers. How hype does Avengers look?
It does,
So cool,
yeah.
hypes over Ultron, but I'd have no background knowledge of what Ultron looks like.
So
he looks pretty metal.
He
though.
looks metal. He looks exactly like he's supposed to look.
Right.
They nailed Ultron. It looks so good. Captain America's got another new outfit because you can't go 5 minutes without a new outfit. Yeah.
Right, yeah, so we've got
you got
Hawkeye running.
Hawkeye in a dress.
He kind of looks a bit like Katniss Everdeen there.
He does. Katniss in a dress.
He looks like the bit in
Hawkeye
Hunger Games where it all starts
kicking off.
kicking off, yeah.
So you got that. You got like Banner and Stark standing there looking cool. Because that's the thing.
Best
right?
mates.
Here's the thing that's happened. They've changed the origin story of Ultron. Not potentially for the worse, but I don't know how it's going to pan out. Because in the comics, Ultron
He
was...
is space agent.
well, no, he was created. He was still an artificial intelligence created by Ant-Man, Hank Pym, who will be Michael Douglas when the film comes out.
Sorry, which one's the space alien? Is that Thanos?
Thanos is just
Straight up.
alien dude
Okay.
who basically fell in love with this woman who was the personification of death, and he
She did.
and he fell in love with her.
like what?
Yeah.
What did he fall in love with there?
It's
Like,
her beautiful sense of humour. So basically, he fell in love with death, and as a present, he wanted to kill the entire universe. So she would be like, "Oh, that's nice of you."
My favourite
Will
thing.
you marry me?
That's it. You know. Yeah. So Ultron was created by Hank Pym in the comics.
Yep.
Who is going to be not Michael Clark Duncan. Definitely not going to be Michael Clark Duncan. Michael Douglas. Very
Or
different.
Michael Caine for that matter.
Or Michael. It could be any Michaels. Michael
I would
Keaton,
love it if it was Michael Caine.
all the Michaels. Michael Fassbender. No. So, but in the film, Ultron is created by Tony Stark and Bruce Banner as like an automated Avengers. Basically, the idea is because obviously at the end of Iron Man 3, spoilers, Iron Man goes, well, I'm not going to be Iron Man anymore then.
Yeah,
And then Bruce Banner obviously doesn't like being the Hulk, so he's going to avoid it.
yeah.
Captain America's, you're disillusioned after the events of Captain America 2. Thor's got other shit to worry about. He's up
Thor's
there
got so much shit to worry
being
about.
godly, working on his guns, that sort of thing.
You know, there's only so much time after
Yeah.
going to the gym that you've got.
Yeah.
So
Bloody Black Widow is spending all her time trying to convince Hawkeye he's not completely useless, but he is. And and
wouldn't you want Scarlett Johansson to carry on
Fine by
convincing
me.
you?
Fine by
No.
me.
Oh.
Like, so
Such a terrible, terrible prospect.
yeah, but yeah, and so the idea is none of them really want to be the Avengers, so they make Ultron to be
cool.
Ultron has all of the specialities and all of the abilities of the Avengers.
He's everything at
He
once.
is all the Avengers at once.
So spoilers, it's
in
going to
robot
go
form.
terribly wrong.
Well, yeah, basically, what happens is Tony Stark gives it sentience in the form of James Spader. He puts James Spader on a USB drive into him, and then that was a bad idea because James Spader will go mental, and he does. And basically, he then, I assume, because there's obviously more than one Ultron in the film. There's like main Ultron and then minion Ultrons. I'm assuming it'll be the same as the comics in that he's sentient enough. He's got all of Stark and Banner's knowledge. He knows how to build Ultrons. So he builds an army of himself. Which is going to be awesome.
And I assume very quickly.
Yes, yeah, and I am, because obviously each one he builds will start working on the next one, and it just...
It's like a Fantasia effect.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. So yeah, I'm hyped for that. Then the other thing was obviously with the Marvels, Lady Thor. Basically what happened is in the comics, they've gone, look, we've done the mighty Thor for the past 50 years or whatever, and it's about time that we diversify. Because they have started diversifying. They've got... they got Miles Morales is the current Spider-Man. He's a black guy. They got... I remember... I mean, I haven't read a bunch of Marvel stuff in a while, but I read somewhere that I think it's an Arabic girl is now the Ms. Marvel at the moment, or maybe not Ms. Marvel, but one of those. I forget.
Sounds vague.
That sounds about right. But basically, they've started diversifying, which is about time, really. So, and they have gone, well, look, Donald Blake, who in the comics is Thor, he's a doctor who has a cane, and he hits the cane, and lightning strikes him, and he becomes Thor. It's a thing that happens. They took that out for the films because hassle. And basically, Donald Blake does something so bullshit that he is no longer worthy of Mjolnir. And so...
Are they up in the cars going?
Yeah, it's like Odin just goes, nope. Bullshit. He's like, he went on a forum and like left Game of Thrones spoilers. And Odin's like,
Delete.
Permaban. So he's permabanned Donald Blake, and some ladies come along and gone, I'm worthy of the Thor, and they're like, all right. So then she picks up.
I'd love it if it was that easy. I'll do
it. And they're like, have you ever left spoilers on a forum? And she's like, no. And they're like, all right.
What?
Yeah.
If you had a customer that was making a complaint, how would you deal with it?
This statement.
Yeah, it's good. No, it's I'm all for it, because I mean, there's a couple of people kicking off, and I'm like, but
who kicks off?
Yeah, exactly. Who have you even people who have even read the comics, right? Loki has been he started off as a bloke, and then he was a girl for a while, and then he was a child. And then he was a horse at one point. That's not making this up. He was a horse.
And it's horse.
It's like, if Loki can be whatever he bloody wants, so can Thor.
If Loki can be an horse.
Yeah, he's a horse.
A tiny horse.
A tiny horse.
So yeah, and I'm all for it. And plus, Joss Whedon then put out that tweet that was like,
Kate Sackhoff.
Yeah, he was like, a girl being Thor, what made them think that would be a good idea? And then posted a picture of Katie Sackhoff, and I'm like, mate,
that'd be hype.
Can you even imagine that? I don't know how they'd shoehorn that into the films.
Maybe they're going to start making Thor.
Or maybe they would. Maybe wait for later. Maybe wait until like Chris Hemsworth gets sick of it, and then they'll just literally be a thing.
Or maybe
the guy who plays Captain America.
Chris Evans.
Once this phase is done, he's like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. So they might just have a complete change around.
Or they'll just like drop the script over at Hemsworth House.
Yeah.
And he'll be reading it and be like, yep, hang on, what?
He's like, oh, you die in the first scene and you're replaced with Katie Sackhoff. I wouldn't even be sad. I'd be like, if you're going to kill me off Katie Sackhoff, it's fine.
Go for it.
Because good.
Battlestar era Katie Sackhoff.
Because Battlestar.
Not 24 era Katie Sackhoff.
I haven't even watched 24 era Katie Sackhoff.
God.
All I know of Katie Sackhoff is Cara Thrace, and that's all I ever want to know.
Goddamn, she's pretty bad in 24. But that's more the writing than her, I think.
But yeah, and then there was one more thing, which...
an X-Man's thing?
It was the X-Man.
Well, it was an X-Man / Power Rangers thing.
Yeah, because there's the Power Rangers movie is going to be a thing.
Yeah, basically, I saw that the writers from X-Men First Class...
Which is a good one.
It is a good one.
Up until...
So like Jane Goldman and co, or the...
I think so. It said someone and the writers of...
Yeah.
Cool.
X-Men First Class have been...
signed on to write Power Rangers, which, because, I mean, before Days of Future Past, First Class was the best X-Men film.
Yeah, it was.
Best X-Men film.
But then Days of Future Past was just
Days of Future Past was
Ah.
actually pretty good, let's be honest.
Days of Future Past was probably one of the best films I've seen in the cinema for quite a while.
Yeah.
I like the idea of, the writers of something has been signed on, because for me, reading that, it makes me think that it's basically going to be the same story. Like they only have one story.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, okay, so some kids, a school,
Yeah.
like becoming superheroes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then the Power Rangers
just sort of shoehorn.
Stop the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I'd go
I'd
and
still
see
watch it. Yeah. Good.
Oh.
But yeah, cool. Well, I can't. I'm melting now.
I know.
I need some eats as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat some
we need some
food.
eats.
I'm gonna put a fan on. It's gonna be great.
Have you got a fan? Are you
you
serious?
better believe we've got a fan. Fans coming
quickly
in.
before we finish.
Say things. Say words.
Well, I want to do some shameless plug-in.
Do it. Plug things.
Basically, me and Dan made our cosplay page on
They
Facebook.
like cosplaying. There's a page. I'll put a link here.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a link
called
here.
Mr. and Mrs. Cosplay.
Oh. I did the graphics for it.
Specialising in
Blimey.
couples and things like this. Thank you very much for making our page for us.
Got
So
me.
if you could give it a like, that would be very
Love
nice.
it. It's good. I'll put the like button. I can't put an actual
Like.
It's not a clickable link, but it's got the words.
So you can go
But
www.
Facebook. I'll put it on the Safehouse Facebook page, and then you'll find it from there. But yeah, cool. So then, if you do the honours of the Facebooks, which will be over there. I love how you looked. It was
Yeah.
like, what are you pointing at? Because it's the Facebooks over there, and then the Twitters is in the middle, and then the subscribes is here. You can click this one. You can look at them, because I still haven't worked out how to do that. It'll be good, and we'll be back next week, probably.
Probably
Talking
lost about a stone.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're all just like skeletons. And yeah, we'll be back next week and it'll be hype, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.